So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Pride of the Yankees, 1942. Giving it 2 out of 5 stars. I thought it was all right. I just liked it, honestly. I'm not a sports fan. I don't care about Lou Gehrig. I don't care about sports in general. I used to be a big time San Francisco Giants fan. Back in the 80s, late 70s, and the 80s, I'd say I was pretty big fan of Will Clark. But then he became a free agent, joined the Rangers, and that really irritated me, the whole free agent system, where they can just jump ship for more money. The greedy players union. It all started with Kurt Flood, I think. It started the players union. I don't remember. I might have gotten the Kurt Flood. He was an activist. His antitrust litigation challenging the major leagues reserve clause was unsuccessful, but led ultimately to the clause's demise. So there you have it. Kurt Flood. All right. So this is a U.S. film produced by Samuel Goldwyn. It pays tribute to the legendary New York Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig, who broke the record for most consecutive games played in 16 years. It was 2,100 games or something. Lou Gehrig died 1 year before its release at age 37 from amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, which later became known to the lay public as Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah, my grandfather had Lou Gehrig's disease. It shut down his entire body. Couldn't till he couldn't breathe, I guess. But kind of like Lou Gehrig, they named a library after my grandfather. This is all pomp and circumstance. It was subtitled The Life of Lou Gehrig. The film is less a sports biography than an homage to a heroic and widely loved sports figure whose tragic and premature death touched the entire nation. Wow. Yeah, I guess people were crazy about baseball back around early 40s. It emphasizes Gehrig's relationship with his parents, particularly his strong-willed mother, his friendships with players and journalists, and his storybook romance with the woman who became his companion for life, Eleanor Twitchell. Details of his baseball career, which were still fresh in most fans' minds in 1942, are limited to montages of ballparks, pennants, and Cooper swinging bats and running bases. Though Gehrig's best-known major league record, 2,130 consecutive games played, is prominently cited. That's quite an awesome feat. I still think Ty Cobb is the greatest baseball player of all time. I'm in the minority because people think Ty Cobb was racist. Because he used to spike people when he with his cleats when he used to slide into the bases. What a mean guy, that Ty Cobb. Anyways, it's got a bunch of Yankees players like Bill Dickey, Babe Ruth, and it's got the sportscaster for the Yankees, Bill Stern. It received 11 Oscar nominations, including the reenactment of Gehrig's poignant 1939 farewell speech at Yankee Stadium. And I just spoiled the ending. All right. So Lou Gehrig is a young Columbia University student whose old-fashioned mother wants him to study hard and become an engineer. Well, first he's a little kid. He's not played by Gary Cooper. What's so funny? Did I say something?
Videos.
Oh, my son's watching videos and he's giggling over there. All right. So before he goes to college, at the insistence of his old-fashioned mother, wants him to study hard and become an engineer. He's playing stickball, and he busts somebody's window because he hits a home run and he busts somebody's window. So his mother has to pay out of her life savings to replace the window. She's angry at him. Okay. Then all of a sudden, he's a young Columbia University student because he promised to study hard and become an engineer like his uncle. To make up for the broken window that his mother had to pay for. But the young man has a gift for baseball. A sports writer befriends Gehrig and persuades a scout to come see him play. When his mother gets sick, Gehrig signs with the team he has always revered, the New York Yankees, to pay for the hospital bills. With the help of his father, he endeavors to keep his career change a secret from his mother. Looks like the box office for this was $3.6 million. Gehrig works his way up through the minor leagues and joins the Yankees. His hero, Babe Ruth, is at first condescending and dismissive of the rookie, but his strong, consistent play wins over Ruth and the rest of the team. Gehrig is unknowingly included by his teammates in playing pranks on Ruth on the team train. I didn't quite understand that. Something about taking 2 bites out of a hat or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to this, quite honestly. And the sound quality was pretty poor. I didn't care. I didn't care. All right. So during a game at Koenig Park, by the way, all this is filmed in at Wrigley Field in Los Angeles, home of the Los Angeles Angels of the old Pacific Coast League, and a popular venue for baseball movies of the era, as well as the Home Run Derby television series. Okay. So during a game at Wrigley Field, Koenig Park, Gehrig trips over a stack of bats and he is teased by a spectator, Eleanor, the daughter of the ballpark hot dog magnate. Oh, I didn't even know that, because I wasn't paying attention to this. Okay, who laughingly calls him Tanglefoot because he trips over a bunch of bats. And he's just a rookie. So later they are properly introduced, leading to a relationship and then an engagement. Gehrig's mother, who still has not accepted the fact that her son will not be an engineer, does not take the news well. Gehrig finally stands up to her and marries Eleanor. I guess standing up to his mother consists of telling her how great baseball is. It's like apple pie. Anyways, the Yankees become the most dominant team in baseball, overtaking the Boston Red Sox. And Gehrig becomes a fan favorite. His father and fully converted mother attend games and cheer for him. Yeah, she's fully converted after he makes tons of money and he's on the television. In a recreation of a famous and possibly apocryphal story, Gehrig visits a crippled boy named Billy in the hospital. He promises to hit 2 home runs in a single World Series game in the boy's honor. Then he fulfills his promise in the 8th inning or something. After it looks like he was going to be intentionally walked, the 4th pitch just happened to be right down the middle of the plate. Miraculous. And he hits the 2nd home run in the World Series. Gehrig is now the Iron Horse, a national hero at the peak of his career with multitudes of fans, many loyal friends, and an adoring wife. Oh, it's so nice to be in the public eye as a star baseball player for the New York Yankees. Oh, my goodness. Then he begins to notice with growing alarm that his strength is slowly ebbing away. Oh, the beginnings of ALS. Though he continues to play and extends his consecutive game streak to a seemingly insurmountable record, his physical condition continues its inexorable decline. One day in Detroit, he tells Yankees manager Joe McCarthy that he has become a detriment to the team and he benches himself. Well, that's unusual for the Iron Horse. Too bad a debilitating disease crippled his career, quite literally. After an examination, a doctor gives him the awful news. Gehrig has a rare, incurable disease and only has a short time to live. That's the bad news that my grandfather got when he was afflicted by this condition. Anyways, short time later at Lou Gehrig Day at Yankee Stadium, an older Billy finds Gehrig and he shows him that he's made a full recovery. He starts walking around. Inspired by his hero's example and the 2-homer fulfilled promise. Then, as Eleanor weeps softly in the stands, Gehrig addresses his fans, and that's the end of the movie. I like the ending. I hated the rest of the movie. I thought it was boring, stupid. It shows how U.S. people are distracted by bread and circus kind of stuff. It was kind of interesting to see Curt Schilling on the bonus features, though. he's kind of a boogeyman because he's conservative and he got his life insurance canceled for being conservative. Kind of an interesting character, Curt Schilling. In the bonus features, Curt Schilling supports all the ALS Association stuff. He sends them tons of money that he earned as a superstar baseball player. He used to tick off his teammates and managers. Anyways, Um, Samuel Goldwyn had no knowledge or interest in baseball, and neither did Gary Cooper. But he insisted on casting Cooper because he had to get at least one movie in. He was ideally suited to the part due to his physical resemblance to Gehrig and the quiet strength and masculine appeal that he projected, but he was 41 years old. So they had to change the camera angle when he was in college to avoid concealing his lines and wrinkles. I guess he had been smoking cigarettes or something. I don't know. Another important and problematic casting decision was Babe Ruth as himself. Ruth's health had been declining steadily since his retirement in 1935. By 1942, he weighed nearly 270 pounds. That's quite a lot for somebody who's less than 6 feet tall. He was put on a strict diet to achieve a presentable weight before filming began. This rapid weight loss on the heels of a heart attack followed by a car accident, combined with a tough shooting schedule and Ruth's propensity to keep late hours like my son, weakened him significantly. By the time filming wrapped, he had developed pneumonia severe enough to require a period of hospitalization. Poor guy. Now, multiple published sources have asserted that Cooper, who was right-handed, could not master a convincing left-handed swing. To remedy the problem, the story went, he was filmed wearing a mirror image uniform and swinging from the right side of the plate, then running to the third base instead of first. Technicians then purportedly flopped the print of the film. They even mentioned that in the bonus features on this disc. This movie is 2 hours, 8 minutes long. It's way too long. I don't need to know every detail of Lou Gehrig's personal life. It's not necessary. Okay. I've had enough of this baseball crap. You can tell baseball or sports biography genre is probably my least favorite, right down there with children's movies and romantic comedy. Although I used to take my son to a lot of kids' movies when he was little. Anyway, Tom Schreiber, senior curator at the National Baseball Hall of Fame, has shown, however, that Cooper did indeed learn to bat left-handed and never wore a backwards Yankees uniform, nor did he ever run to third base after swinging. Film footage was, in fact, flop only once during a brief sequence portraying Gehrig's minor league days at Hartford. In order to make Cooper appear to be throwing left-handed, a more difficult task for a right-hander to master, Cooper threw the ball like an old woman tossing a hot biscuit, said Lefty O'Doul, who tried unsuccessfully to teach him a convincing left-handed throw. Scenes requiring Cooper to throw a ball as a Yankee were filmed using a stand-in, the left-handed Babe Herman. So there you have it. Everything you want to know about. It was the seventh highest grossing film of 1942. There's a publicity photo of Babe Ruth and Gary Cooper holding Lou Gehrig's bat. on Wikipedia. Seventh highest grossing film of 1942 with $8.08 million in box office receipts. Despite its wide popularity, RKO took a loss of $213,000 on the film due to the small distribution fee that Samuel Goldwyn had negotiated with the studio. All of Goldwyn's pictures produced a loss for RKO no matter how much money they took in, but the studio considered the arrangement acceptable because its association with Goldwyn lent prestige to RKO and enhanced sales of its own movies. Oh, okay. So they took a loss to produce profits on their other stuff. Interesting. Film editor Daniel Mendel won an Academy Award. The film received 10 additional Oscar nominations. Best Actor in a Leading Role, Gary Cooper. Best Actress in a Leading Role, Teresa Wright, who was in Shadow of Doubt with Joseph Cotton. Best Art Direction, Interior Direction, Black and White. Best Cinematography, Black and White. Best Effects, Special Effects, 3 people that I never heard of. Best Music Scoring of a Dramatic or Comedy Picture. Best Picture, Best Sound Recording, Best Writing Original Story, and Best Writing Advanced Screenplay. The American Film Institute ranked The Pride of the Yankees 22nd on the list of the 100 most inspiring films in America's cinema. Okay, I'll have to admit the ending was a bit of a tearjerker. Gary Cooper and Teresa Wright did a great job at the end, but the movie just dragged on too long. There was way too much buildup to the whole to the Yankee Stadium speech. And for the movie, the speech was not reproduced verbatim. The script condensed and reorganized Gehrig's actual spontaneous and unprepared remarks and moved the iconic luckiest man line from the beginning to the end for heightened dramatic effect. Gehrig's message remained essentially unchanged. So if you go on Wikipedia, you can see Gehrig's actual Yankee Stadium speech. And right below it is the film speech. You can compare the two, but they're essentially the same. All right. Did I beat this movie to death? Did I beat this dead horse enough? This lamestream baseball movie that I dislike. I was going to give it 1 out of 5 stars until I saw the ending. And I thought, well, the acting and the corny ending was pretty decent, I have to admit. It wasn't all bad. I'd say skip the first 2 hours and watch the last 8 minutes. That's my suggestion. And this disc had like piracy warnings. One after another. In all different languages, like 10 different languages. It just kept going on and on. I wanted the disc to stop. I showed my son, and he got a laugh out of it. All right. Pride of the Yankees gets 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't care for the bonus features, but it had a lot of misleading background about The myth of Gary Cooper batting right-handed and then flipping it around, running to third base instead of first base. All right. So that's the end of my review. Sorry that I only got one review in, but I was trying to finish Dick Tracy Returns, and I got through 2 hours in between taking naps. Man, I've been sleeping a lot this past week, really. Ever since I messed up my ankle, and I didn't even put ice on it today. And I stopped taking my painkiller. Maybe that's why I'm so tired. But anyways, his mother woke me up. It's like bugging him to go walking around Goldwyn Park and to go to a baseball game at 8:30 in the morning. He's supposed to wake up at 7. That's impossible. He wakes up at like 10. 3 hours later. That's like trying to wake him up in the middle of the night or something. But he doesn't sleep at night. He stays up until 11. So it's the equivalent of waking him up in the middle of the night, I guess, if you wake him up at 7 in the morning. All right. So that's the end of my review. And I'll try to keep them coming. Sorry that I only got one in today. Laters.